Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back again. It's the Wazobia gang of the African Fighters podcast. And today, guys, apologies for skipping last week. One or two things happened. However, we are going to do a bit of a throwback and talk about things that had happened in the past. If you are joining us for the first time, this is the African Fighters podcast where we talk all things Africans in combat sports. As long as you are flying an African flag, we talk about you, man. We talk about you. And today there's quite a lot to deep in because we've got 2 weeks of catalog to go through. And it would be poetic for me to start by telling you my name, but here it goes. My name is Jibril Aminu from the African Fighters, and with me today, it's the same gang. To my right, first in the middle, Ademola Odewade from the Kingdoms podcast. He is the president, Israel Adesanya fan club, streaming from London, England. Ladies and gentlemen, Kingdoms again. What's up, my brother?
I'm good. I'm good. All right. All good in the hood. How's everybody? Hope you guys are good.
I would like to talk for everybody. I think everybody is having a fantastic holiday season. Some people are gonna go out. If you are in Lagos, I know the traffic is crazy. There's a lot of IJGBs out there. So I know take your time. Maybe go out after Christmas. If you don't know what IJGB is, it's I just got back. So many I just got backs for Dirty December. I'll put a pin on that Dirty December. I have something to talk about in the show about that. And to my far right, ladies and gentlemen, it is the business tycoon. It is Ebuka Ogbonna streaming live from Manchester, England. This is not the familiar playing terrain for him, but yes, he is in Manchester, England. And as you can see, he just wiped his tears because he was in Old Trafford to witness an embarrassing performance. But regardless, ladies and gentlemen, it's my brother in high spirits. Ebuka, how you doing?
I should have actually worn my scarf, Ladies and gentlemen, this is your biggest Manchester United fan, Ebuka, aka the Tycoon. I hope you're doing good. Compliments of the season to you all. Welcome to this evening. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's time to dig deep into this. Quite a lot of things to talk about, but I'm just going to give you a brief summary of it. We are going to talk all things the fallout of Anthony Joshua, sorry, Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk from last night for a Riyadh season boxing card, the rematch. We saw what happened. How did you score the fight? How was that fight? Was it entertaining? What is next for both fighters coming out of that fight? This and more we'll talk about. We'll talk about Manel Kape calling out Israel Adesanya. Well, if you want to call it a call out, we'll also talk about Themba Gorimbo, a friend of the show. Big shout out to Themba. We'll talk about Kamaru Usman and his next fixture coming in the UFC. Are we going to see Usman back in the UFC? We'll talk about a little bit about that. We'll talk about what we are going to be expecting in 2025, and there's a little bit of a game we would play throughout 2025, but we would talk about this a little bit more later towards probably the end segment of the show. But yes, if you are joining us again, this is the African Fighters podcast. Thank you, thank you, thank you. First of all, I'm going to throw it to the gang. I'm going to go to Ebuka first. Ebuka, I've got a question for you, and that question is, what do you want to talk about?
My brother, how good is this sick, bro? How good is this guy? That guy is, as that fight was going on yesterday, yeah, I can guarantee you, if both guys were on the same height, let's say, because don't forget, if Fury has the height advantage, Fury has the reach advantage, yeah. Had it been that those guys were even in terms of that height and reach, that fight wouldn't have gotten to the eighth round, 100%, because Usyk would have stopped Fury in that fight. And this is how good that guy is. Is I don't understand what
Can
people
I
are
can
arguing.
I, can I jump in there to stress what you are saying, right? We know that in every sport there are different body types for different positions, right? If you are watching football, if you are a football fan, you know the big, tall guys are likely a center back or maybe a striker. The shorter guys, stocky guys are the wingers. Same in American football, right? The quicker guys are probably the wide receivers. you catch my drift. In basketball as well, the tallest guys are the centers. There are guys playing the center, the point guards are the shorter guys. So in heavyweight as well, we know traditionally a heavyweight fighter is big, tall, and massive. And that comes with so many disadvantages in the sense that mobility, footwork would not be as good, and speed as well would not be as good as the smaller guys. But Usyk is a phenomenon. I know you would probably think about Mike Tyson knocking people out in his heydays, but how did his career end? He started getting caught. You cannot live by a solid chin for the rest of your career as a heavyweight because those guys hit heavy. But Usyk is literally a technical fighter. He fought in amateurs, not in heavyweight. So that means definitely anybody he fights in heavyweight, he's got the speed advantage. He's got a better. He's likely to be more technical than that person because the lighter the fighters, the more technical they are. So for Usyk being in heavyweight, saying just to confirm what you are saying, it's he is like a different type of animal, and most especially for someone like a heavyweight like Tyson Fury. Isn't that what you are trying to say, Ibuka?
Yeah, yeah. Like the guy is just good, man. And it's I haven't personally all my years of watching boxing, I haven't seen someone just in that kind of you know in the fight. You can see him going through some adversity in some of those rounds. You can see the mountain that is just in front of this guy. You can see how big Fury was. You can see how sometimes Fury was trying to put his whole weight on him, but he still found
Yeah,
a way to get those punches in. He landed the more significant strikes, he landed the more cleaner shots, and he was just elusive.
I think
I can
I
remember
think
only
going
a
into
few times. Yeah.
Yeah, I think going into that fight, you would know what the plan of Fury was. He came in heavy, very, very heavy, heavier than he has fought in a while. I think the last
Hmm.
time he fought that heavy was when he fought Wilder, and we know what he was trying to do. He was trying to bully Wilder, because what? But then, if he marches towards Wilder in a straight line, Wilder on his back foot is horrible because he does not have the same skill that Usyk does. So he actually got that knockout. He probably thought that he would do the same thing, match Usyk down, but Usyk was cutting angles. Usyk was stepping out of the way. Usyk was hitting strikes. We know that there was one thing that could have probably worked for Fury, which is the uppercut, and he never really utilized it earlier in the fight.
He
However,
tried,
I did,
tried,
yeah, yeah, but
tried.
how technical Usyk is, right? Is crazy. He danced circles around Anthony Joshua, beat Anthony Joshua twice. Down circles around Fury, beat Fury twice. Demola, has he done enough to stay in the heavyweight, or does he need to go back to the cruiserweight again?
Okay. According to the Ring magazine, they say Usyk has completed boxing. Right. I'll start by giving Usyk his flowers. Big credit to him. However, I for the very first time I did see a fight where Usyk looked human, and I strongly am of the opinion that Usyk lost that fight. Usyk won the decision, but he did lose that fight. So we must always remember that as much as boxing is uh, entertainment, boxing is a sport, right? And there are academics when it comes to rules of scoring a fight, right? In line with the rules of scoring fights, right? Looking at each round, we have a 10-9 score, a 10-point scoring system, right? Usyk, Fury actually won more rounds than Usyk, and I was scoring the rounds, and in the professional, the experts are projections as well, right? I did agree with the experts. The two experts that were scoring, right, scored the fights in favor of Fury. My own personal scorecards were in favor of Fury, right? I did not stake any amount, on this fight, so I came in completely unbiased, right? So for me,
What
Fury did
experts?
well.
Which channel
You
did
know,
you use to watch it?
I don't.
I
So
think it was
I
T.
was
What?
I think it
I
was
was going to
TNT
say
Sports.
I was going to say
TNT
something, right?
Sports.
You,
Yeah.
if I think you bought the pay-per-view, didn't you?
Yes, I
And
did buy the
we
pay
watched.
per view.
I would say me and Ebuka probably watched it on the zone. So the different type
Yeah.
of broadcast. I do
Yeah.
know that there is a bit of bias when it comes to a British broadcast, when it comes to the Fury and Usyk fight, right? And as a viewer, when you listen to commentators, they kind of sway your judgment a little bit more than the eye test, right?
Yeah.
As casual fans, when casual fans argue, oh, it's a close fight, this person won, most of the times it's because of the commentary you are listening to. They convinced you that this person landed more shots. But if you actually watch that fight, you would see that, yes, there were some close rounds. However,
Mhm.
whenever Fury was picking up momentum, he had his moments, but those moments were very brief. When he started picking up momentum, Usyk would intelligently halt it. And all
Mhm.
that time that Fury is not picking momentum or doing anything good, Usyk was dominating the fight. So in my own scorecard, I gave Fury only 4 rounds. I only saw him winning 4 rounds clearly. Everything else I gave it to Usyk. And in the broadcast I watched, there was Anthony Joshua also had a scorecard, and in his scorecard he had uh there was just 1 round in between them. Uh
Yeah.
Usyk won with one more round.
One
But
round. Yeah.
Okay.
damn, to say that Fury won that fight, there was a not is this guy called Bob
I mean,
Arum? What's the name of the guy?
TNT
What's the name of
broadcast
See,
for
so
Frank
so
Warren
so so
anyway.
now so now we have
Frank Warren. Frank Warren.
Hal Frampton
Frank,
and Steve Bonds were the guys, were the experts that were scoring the fight.
they're British guys. So, but
But I am not
I'm not
British.
saying your judgment is wrong. Oh. I'm just
At the very
saying
least,
that
at the very least,
in my own opinion, I feel like the commentary probably swayed your judgment. I
it
I
was a
feel like
close fight.
if all three of us go back and watch that fight without muting the commentary and just watching it without the audio, right? We come back here with scorecards. I'm pretty sure we give all the fight to Usyk. That's my own opinion. Usyk took the center of the ring so most of the fights. Only times that Fury took center of the ring was only a few times, and you could see that Usyk would be seeing, oh, okay, so this guy is taking the center of the
And,
ring, and then he starts
and
switching,
the
he
jabs.
starts doing that, up and down that he's doing. Even though, you know what, I feel like any casual that watches this fight will look at it and be like, okay, big guy versus small guy. I think they would side with the small guy because of what the small guy was doing with skills. Even though, in my opinion, the commentary team when I was watching the commentary was saying, "Oh, boxing clinic, highest level of boxing, da da da." I was like, "This is boring. Nobody's actually scoring obvious points." Right? You want to see people actually scoring obvious points. When I say obvious points, I mean a clean strike, and then the crowd go, "Ooh, we only saw a few. We only saw that a few times." In my opinion, it was very, very boring. But Demola, you are of the opinion that Fury won that fight, aren't you?
I'm of the
And
opinion that Fury.
can you defend that opinion?
I can't defend that opinion, right? Because it was a very, very close fight. So I would say, let me see. Out of the 10 rounds, I think I did give Fury six. Yeah, 6 rounds. Because when it comes to scoring, combat sports, right? You look at the volume mixed with the damage, right? And that is what really is the first criteria. And then before you look at the aggression and the cage control, ring control, right? So Usyk was more of the advancing party, right? He was the hunter. Usyk was the hunter, right? Fury basically was throwing counter strikes and using the jab, a very, very educated jab to distort the rhythm, right? Usyk's movement is artistic, right? It's beautiful to watch. He's just like a Muhammad Ali reincarnate. He's got the same height with Muhammad Ali, same birthday with Muhammad Ali, right? That physique, the smaller, muscular, trim physique allows you to be fast, right? To evade the punches, right? But in terms of punches landed, I would like for us to see that statistic, right? Fury, I think, should have more, punches landed, especially with the jab. And, it's a point system, it's a point fighting as much as, it is a combat sport, right? It's point
Yeah,
fighting. And in terms of point fighting, volume matters, right? Volume and damage. He nearly he did rock Usyk, right? With that uppercut that landed at some point. But I think Fury was basically being too cautious because he gave Usyk too much respect.
I'm good. Demola, you have someone in the comment section agreeing with you. Big shout out to Tiffany Movani. She says that they try to convince you with commentary. It's a bit biased depending on the streaming platform you're watching. And she also said, but from watching the fight, I believe something went wrong with the judges. I personally think Fury won. This is another British bias. There's no way this person is not from England. Actually, we know that she's from England, but yeah. but but to be honest, Tiffany, I would recommend go watch that fight again, and at this time, turn off the
Remove the
commentary
comment.
volume,
Yeah.
remove the commentary, watch it in mute, and then have your pen and paper and take the score and use the
So what's the
10-9
criteria?
response
What's
box.
what's the criteria for scoring?
So, in my opinion, with my eye test,
Mhm.
it's simple to me. I don't have to go very technical. If I watch a boxing round, the person that is pushing the pace, the person that is landing more, the person that looks like he's making the other person uncomfortable, I don't want to be waiting for stats to pop in my screen to say, oh, this person has more shots landed. I trust my eyes to see, okay, it's clear that this person won the 10th round, won 10, and the other person scored 9. It's it's almost like um it's when they are like close rounds, that's what is
Mhm.
a bit difficult. When I see close rounds, then I would have to look for moments in that round, moments where maybe he landed the jab and then the neck snapped back a little bit. That's when I'll be like, okay, so this person had more moments. Maybe I would lean towards this person. And using that logic with my eye test, and also noticing who is making the other person uncomfortable, who is making you do more switches, who is flinching to faint. All those things with my eye test, I can tell. And watching that, I could tell that Fury won. Going into the 12th round, I was like, it's a knockout for Fury to win, or else he's going to lose. Even if Fury wins that round, that was my opinion. I ended up giving Fury only for 4 rounds, and that was the earlier rounds, in my opinion. How about you, Ebuka? How did you score it?
No, I mean, I already said that I think Usyk won. I think Usyk basically took over in the second half of the fight.
Mhm.
Tyson's main wins were in the first half. I think in my opinion, he got like out of those 6 rounds, he probably got maybe three of them, 3 or 4 of them at most. And then in the later rounds, he took maybe just one you can give him, in my own opinion.
Mhm.
And it's not about what happened was the moment Fury had something going, you would see that just like in the Batavia versus Bivol fight.
Mhm.
Yes, that one. Maybe in that one, I actually thought Bivol won that one, but that's a different conversation. But just like in that fight, you can see that Usyk was coming back towards the end. He was always finishing well. You could see he was just so slick. He was just so good. He was just, despite all the disadvantages that I think he has physically in that fight. But I think he just found a way to win. That's just the way I'll summarize
You know,
yesterday's fight.
I I like this conversation we are having. What I'm going to do. Demola says he wants to present something. What is it you want to present, Demola?
The scoring system for boxing.
Yeah,
Okay,
go for it. Go for it if you have it ready.
so here we
I'm
go.
going.
So,
Okay.
so,
Let
so
me actually
basically,
just scroll.
it says, what do boxing judges look for?
So let me read this to the audio listeners. What do
Okay, okay.
boxing judges look for? Here are the following areas in which boxing judges are encouraged to determine who won or lost a round: effective aggression, Being aggressive gives the impression of dominance, but unless the boxer is landing shots and not constantly getting countered, it isn't really effective. Judges look for effective aggression where the aggressor constantly lands punches and avoids being hit by the opponent. Essentially
Keyword
what I was
effective.
telling you, essentially what I was
Mm-hmm.
telling you with my eye test, the person that is pushing the pace of the fight. Ring generalship,
What?
the fighter who controls action and enforces his will and style. Again, s- goes to Usyk. Usyk took the center of the ring every single time. In the most time of the fight, he was taking the center of that ring, and um, only in a few cases we had Fury take the center of the ring. Um, Next is defense. How well is a boxer slipping, parrying, and blocking punches? Good defense is important. Can you remember how many times did Fury actually land a shot? And count how many times did we visually see Usyk
Mm.
land a shot at Fury? You obviously will put that in consideration. And the last one is hard and clean punches. To the untrained eye, it can appear as if the boxer is leading a lot of shots when in fact most are being blocked and aren't even landing flush. A judge needs to look for hard shots that land clean. And again, this comes back to what I was saying, Demola. In my
You
opinion,
see that?
in my opinion, Usyk had more of those clean strikes.
Landed. Yeah,
Here's another
yeah,
here's another thing.
I agree.
After every round, they try to show a bit of highlights of the key moments in every round. And after every round, it looks like they're only showing the highlights of Usyk. There were a few of Fury, but you would see most of the highlights were of Usyk. And again, in my opinion, undoubtedly,
Yeah,
this
that's
fight
another
isn't
thing I
even
wanted to say.
yeah. This
That's
fight
another thing I
wasn't
wanted
even
to say.
as
Usyk landed
close.
the more
uh,
clean shots. Yeah,
yeah, this fight was
certainly.
not even as close as people deem it to be. In my opinion, it was a clear, obvious win for Fury and for Usyk. If you remember, so here's another thing, right?
So
One
who
of the
who
things
landed?
I'm going to make one more point, right? And that point I'm going to make is Riyadh season, they are obviously in this for making money and making big fights. So many times they try to put heavyweight boxers to win so they can meet somebody. For example, they tried to make that Wilder AJ fight, but Wilder got beat a couple of times. And they'll call the fight the way it is. If Wilder had won, it would have favored the Saudi and their boxing promotion. If Fury had
Yeah,
won this fight, it would have favored the Saudis. That fight that you like, that Bivol, what's me that guy name? The one that they did last
better
year,
Yes,
beer,
better
earlier
be
this
it.
year.
better
Better be
beer.
it.
That
Yeah.
one.
Mhm.
That one. The fight, the winner of the fight was not favorable to promotion for the Saudis, including this Fury Usyk fight too. When the fight was being announced, the winner, Toki Al Sheikh was literally standing next to Usyk to put the belt on him before they even made the announcement, because everybody around the ring and their mothers knew that Usyk won that fight. Do you understand? So I don't think I don't think it's even that close for a debate. If we are going to be like,
Yeah,
in pro wrestling, we've seen Kobe Covington do this, right? In pro wrestling, when you lose, you try to cling on a narrative that makes it seem like, okay, you can come back and fight again. Kamaru Usman defeated Kobe Covington twice, and every time, even the first time they fought, Kamaru Usman even broke Kobe's jaw, but Kobe came out saying Usman was cheating. He was cheating. He was eye poking.
yeah,
He was faking eye poke, doing that, doing that, doing that. And then that is a narrative that he could use to be like, I'll need a rematch. And they did the rematch. Usman clearly won the rematch. Even Kobe congratulated him saying he won. But after the fight, he came back saying, oh no, that's fake referees,
yeah,
dara, 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 dara. You have to cling on narratives so people and casual fans will be like, yeah, he needs to fight again. I feel like that is what was going on. The propaganda started. That Tyson Fury manager for Queensberry, Frank Warren, he
yeah.
said
Frank Warren. Yeah,
he he held the scorecard in the middle of the ring and was
Yeah,
like,
like
I don't know, I don't know what these people are
how
looking at. How is this? They already started pushing the narrative for Fury to get back
how.
in there. So that's how boxing promotion works. You would
To
have
be honest,
to
that is how I
sugarcoat it.
felt. There's no way you would say Fury did not win any of the last 6 rounds.
And And then what happened when Frank Warren was making that claim in the post fight interviews? People were booing him in there like, hey, boo, you think we're idiots? Boo, we know who actually won this fight. So we already know what this is. And I enjoyed this conversation so much. I'm going to clip it and put it on YouTube. And you know what the caption is going to be? The caption is
What's it
going
gonna
to be
be?
your face, Demola, saying, Usyk got robbed.
Usyk did get robbed. I stand by
Okay.
it.
Oh, yeah. So now the caption will be true. If you are watching the clipped version of this video, this is the end of the video. This is the end of the segment. And Demola did actually say that Fury got robbed. Yeah. I think
Let's
we've
move on.
spoken about that. Yeah. Let's move on. Kamaru Usman. All right. Kamaru Usman. We saw Sharedog, I think Tapology or Sharedog, one of the Fight Records websites, did post that in UFC 312, we are going to see Kamaru Usman versus Della, JDM, in Australia. And that is the same card that Drickus would fight Strickland. So a lot of people were talking about it, right? And recently, back as 4 days ago, one of the Australian MMA news sites, I can't remember which it is to give them a shout out, did come out and say that that fight is not happening. Mostly from what it looked like, it's because JDM is not ready. Apparently, JDM probably got surgery. I cannot confirm that, but he is not healthy enough to fight. And he's not even going to fight in the first half of this year because of the situation he's going through. And this is something that one of our close friends on this show did tell us a while ago. He said that JDM is actually having a bad injury, a bad short. Sorry, I don't know. I can't remember if it's the shoulder or the ankle, one of the two. So now, when the fight between Bilal Mohammed and Shafkat fell off, a lot of people were calling for Usman to step in and fight Shafkat for an interim title. Dara dara dara. Usman did not do that. Usman on his podcast said he's not 100% yet. A lot of people don't know this, but Usman had a back surgery or maybe a waist surgery, and I can confirm that from original sources. He's already healed and he's training now. However, he says he's not 100% yet. But here's an interesting. I'm going to throw you a curveball. We've got Joaquin Buckley. He disseminated Kobe Covington in Miami and called out Kamaru Usman. So now the question is, would you rather see Usman versus JDM, or would you rather see Usman versus Buckley? Buckley is on a 6-fight win streak. Which serves Usman better? I'll go to you, Demola, first.
I think obviously Joaquin Buckley is the more entertaining fight, more explosive fight. So when you look at Usman's social media, what's the name? Usman 84 kg, 84 kg
64.
per reason.
Is it
84 kg.
64? 84,
84
yeah.
84
kg.
kg.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, go on.
84 kg is actually middleweight, not welterweight, right? And you have a Joaquin Buckley who came down from middleweight, to start a tier, a run in the welterweight. And big up to him, he's put in a lot of work. He's improved his game. It's called MMA for a reason. Mixed martial arts. He's mixed up, the striking with, more wrestling and grappling, right? However, Usman is a once in a generation athlete, but y'all must have forgot because of the recent string of losses, right? So I think Buckley is, high on his hype, right? But I don't think, respectfully, he's on the level of Usman, right? So we would see that fight. Usman is, a collegiate wrestler, right? NCAA wrestler. So Usman has improved, not just his wrestling, his jiu-jitsu, his striking over the years. And I think Usman will likely knock Buckley out. So it's going to be a really really interesting watch. But JDM, it's not really a favorable matchup for Usman. So I'd rather see Usman fight Buckley because JDM will give Usman a lot of problems. See what he did to Gilbert Burns. He is younger and tougher, durable. He can ride out, he can ride out adversity. But we've not seen Buckley tested with intense adversity and ride it out. So Usman is going to drag him into deep waters. And I like that one. I love that one. It's going to be a good step up fight for Usman.
Yeah,
And of course,
yeah,
yeah, just like what I predicted earlier about Adesanya, right? I predicted he was going to be fed with an Imavov, if you remember, and that's what happened.
yeah. But thank you for your take. You says from what I can gather, there is much more of a straight line to victory for Usman if he fights Buckley. That is wrestle, wrestle, wrestle. I would argue that Usman's knee is not what it used to be. And we saw how much he had. Once upon a time, he had 100% takedown defense. However, because of age, we saw what Chimaev did to him, right? Chimaev was taking him down not so easily, but he was doing it. And we know the reason why Usman was not able to sprawl properly was because his legs are as old as his age, if that makes sense. But I'm talking about like career wise benefits for a career, not easy path to victory. Career wise, Ebuka, I'm going to you with this one. Career wise, which would help Usman better and maybe get him back to the title picture? Is it a victory against JDM or would it be a victory against Buckley?
I mean, I think Buckley has been making some noise lately, and I think he seems to be the one that has generated more buzz. JDM is not
Telling
much of a
you.
media person. He's not
Mhm.
much of a media person or someone that talks a lot of things on the mic. So I think Buckley, in that sense, Buckley will make sense because if he beats Buckley on 6-5 win streak and everything, he will kind of shut that down and not that Usman needs any of that because he is Kamaru Usman. He's a legend in this sport and obviously a Hall of Famer, I think, in the future. So I think Buckley. I'll go with Buckley. Bring on Buckley. Like Demola said, there's a clear path to victory, even though he's wrestling is a bit in question at the moment. But I still think that Buckley fight will make much more sense for me, just based on the media aspect of it.
Yeah, sorry, I got disconnected for a minute. How I'm going to say if you look at it from ranking wise in the welterweight division, right? JDM is ranked number 4 and Joaquin Buckley is ranked number 6. However, one of the popular things that has been ongoing with Dana White this year has been the way he's been rubbishing the rankings, the UFC rankings. He's saying he wants to do AI and all of that. We now know that the UFC rankings doesn't even matter as much. It's just an excuse to keep unentertaining fighters away from the title. If you're not very entertaining, they'll just leave you in the ranking. You'll be fighting for ranking, and then when you feel like you've won 10 fights, they'll be like, you're not number 1 yet. So we know that's an excuse. But if you're hot, if you can draw money for them, they would push you to a title fight. And with Usman fighting Buckley, I see where you guys go with this. If Usman fights Buckley, since his like his viral knockout, he's taking social media very serious. He likes making entertaining videos, which are quite entertaining. There was a time he started a friendship with that guy that is showing life skills, survival skills. I've forgotten what the name of that guy is. That funny guy.
The guy Sean Strickland fought.
Yeah, the guy Sean Strickland could not even take a joke about. So Buckley has it, and Buckley is American. So I feel commercial wise, Usman beating Buckley, even if he wrestles his way to victory, it's only 3 rounds. Usman has to unlearn how to fight 5 rounds because that was one of his demise when he fought Chimaev. He thought he was fighting a 5 round fight. So if Usman, as you say, draws Buckley into the deep waters, even if he beats Buckley by wrestling him, I feel the UFC will be like, yeah, you are the guy. You're probably going to fight for an interim title or for the title, depending on when Bilal comes back. Because the clear number 1 contender right now is Shafkat, and nobody's taking it away from him. But how long away is Bilal going to stay away for? So, yeah, I do agree with that. I think we all agree that Buckley is the right guy for Usman to fight. However, it takes time to tell. We would see what's gonna happen. I think UFC 312 is fantastic for Buckley and Usman. It would be a great co-main, in my opinion. Um, moving on. President Israel Adesanya fan club is here, and it is rightfully for me to take this to you. It has been announced that one of the Riyadh season events is a fight night. Israel Adesanya in the main event again, but this time he's fighting Imavov. Now, this is a scary fight, in my opinion. However, Demola, what do you think about this?
I think I called this fight even before the fight was in the making, right? Because when Israel did lose to DDP, I think the edition of the podcast that we had, I looked into the top five and cherry picked who is going to be the easiest pathway back to a title contention, and there was no other person but Imavov. Right, Imavov is a striker. His skill set, his style, is not nightmarish to. Adesanya, and of course, it's also entertaining to the fans to see, two elite level strikers, right? And we know uh, when it comes to kickboxing, the only other name who can be put in the same breath as Adesanya in the UFC is Shama, Alex Pereira. So I think it's an interesting matchup, and it's one that I'm happy about, and we will see, Adesanya put up a clinic. Can't wait for that one.
Um, yeah, I do agree with you. I do agree with you. But wait, before I give my point, Ibuka, you want to chime in? What do you think about this fight, this matchup?
Yeah, certainly. That's a good one. That's a good. I think actually when you look at it very well, that is the only actually option for easy. I mean that top five, top six, because most of the other guys there he has already fought. So I think yeah, that makes sense, and it will be a good scrap. It will be Imavov trains in the same gym as again. They have the same coach and team. So French guy of I think Russian heritage. So it's going to be a good one, good scrap. I think is it French or Moroccan? I can't remember, but uh, yeah, it's going to be a good scrap. Really looking forward to that one. It's a big event as well in Saudi, right? Is it in Riyadh or
Saudi.
in Dubai? Yeah,
Saudi.
in Saudi. So I mean, you can be sure that at least in terms of the money, we all know Easy is one of the cash cows in the UFC. So yeah, that's a good one. That's a good. What's the dates? Maybe that's the kind of fight that someone might be able to actually attend. Um, that's an interesting one.
money,
Yeah.
money, money. I feel making it. I'm here with the money, man. You know what is going to happen? Demola, you and Ibuka make una go Saudi, but make una crowd fund for me. Make I join una. Okay, maybe chip in for my flight ticket, yeah, and I will get a media pass for us, so we don't have to buy tickets, so we can get to actually interview these guys. It's a good deal. Chip in, chip in for my flight tickets, right? We could share one room in a hotel, and I don't mind I don't mind
You were
crashing on
saying
the
everything.
sofa.
You were saying everything right before that.
Wait now, I don't mind crashing on a sofa, dude. You are in Saudi, you cannot do anything in that room. So I'll crash on the sofa, and I'll get us a media pass, backstage media pass, so we can attend press conferences and actually interview Easy. And you get your dream interview at Demola. What do you say? Is this something to think
Yeah,
about?
that's actually something to think about. I think
Hey,
so. Yeah.
hey, there you go. There you go. I can confirm that media pass, I will get it. And all three of us we go. And like we can pull fighters aside and do, you know how we did it when we went to that Anthony Joshua press conference, me and you at Demola, we pull fighters aside and do like one-on-one interview. And then you can brand it King Dem's podcast. You can brand it Ebuka Tycoon. You see, I'm selling it well for you guys.
Do you know the tattoo on John Jones's chest?
Which one? The
Philippines,
godless one? No, not godless. Which one is it?
Philippines
The
16
the
says,
the Psalms, or is it Bible scripture?
Philippians.
It's a
Yeah.
Bible scripture, and
Yeah,
that
yeah.
is the core, that's the fundamental of my own philosophy. Philippians 4:19. I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. There's nothing
Mhm.
impossible for God. Name it and claim it. From your mouth to God's ears, it will happen. Mashallah, God
So
is real.
yes, inshallah. So here's the thing with that. Allah give me everything in it. Yes,
Alhamdulillah.
yes, the thing with that. God now is speaking through me, telling you guys, buy flight tickets for Jibril, and you would speak to Easy. When you see Easy, you go just speak Yoruba. Mafo, brother me. Kilo shere, kilo le. And he's gonna be like, ah. And yo, you know how Easy shouts out his Africans. This is really good. Ebuka, you want to check when that fight is going to happen actually? So
I think it's is it February or March, I think.
I'm just having a quick look. It's not even too far away. It's 1st of February, so it's literally 1 month away. So if we are going to do this, guys, we need to agree so we can start processing our visas because we are Nigerians, remember? And to be honest, I don't think you need a visa if you have a UK residence permit. Anyways, before we get carried away, people are going to drift away with this. Let's get back into it. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. We are probably going to make our UFC press conference debut in Saudi, Easy versus Imavov. Let's go. All right, next. Let's talk about I opened the wrong notes. Here we go. Manel Kape. Manel Kape fought in Miami and he won the whole night. The whole night with his promo after his victory. Manel Kape grabbed the mic and he went off. And he went off. He went, F Kai Kara France. We know they have history already. Adesanya. And then he was like, I am the true pay-per-view draw in the featherweights. I should fight Pantoja. Dana, make me fight Pantoja. And now he wants the Kai Kara France fight. He wants the Pantoja fight. Do you think the UFC should just avoid the Kai Kara France and just go straight to Pantoja? Because we know that Manel Kape is entertaining as heck. For a backstory for you guys that didn't know, sometime last year or earlier this year, in one of the New Zealand cards, Manel Kape from Angola was meant to fight Kai Kara France from New Zealand. Kai Kara France is a teammate of Israel Adesanya with City Kickboxing. What happened then was Kai Kara France had to pull out of the fight due to injuries, and there was a replacement fight for uh, Manel Kape, a Brazilian kid that actually showed up and did well. But in the press conference, if you remember, the main event was Easy versus Strickland. That was when Easy lost his title to Strickland. So Manel Kape in the press conference was going off on Kai Kara France, who was supposed to fight him, and what his fight was cancelled. So Kai Kara France was in the crowd because it's his hometown. He started going off on Kai Kara, saying F bombs. And if you remember, in our African Fighters awards last year, we added that as the promo of the year because Manel Kape got an amazing promo last year as well. So Easy was trying to defend his teammate in Kai Kara France, and then he was kind of like sat next to Manel and told Manel to like calm down. Manel started insulting Easy and Easy's mother. He said, F you, sit down, sit down. Visually, it was very funny because Easy is this tall and Manel Kape is very short. So Manel Kape remembered that and started insulting Easy after his fight, his win 2 weeks ago. There was a reaction video on Freestyle on the YouTube channel where this is the second time Easy did it this year. There's that Russian guy that called out Easy and that insulted Easy, and Easy was like, "What did I do to him?" Right? And this time Easy was eating, and Kai Kara started going, "If Adesanya is like, what did I do to this guy? Why am I
That was
collecting
so
stray
funny.
bullets? Why am I collecting stray bullets?"
And
Now,
actually, he was praising the guy for his performance
yes,
in,
yes.
and then
We
The
never
first guy was Shara Magomedov.
Yeah, that Russian guy with the funny eye. Yeah. So this is going to make a great TV, you know. If Manel Kape is actually going to go to Australia and fight Kai Kara France, and Easy obviously will be there, it's going to make great TV. I would love to see what's going to happen in that exchange. I understand Manel Kape is Angola and Easy is Nigerian. It's all Africa, all bros. But I'll throw it to you guys. Let me go to Ebuka first. Would you rather see Kai Kara just jump to fight Pantoja? Or would you rather see Kai Kara? Would you rather see Manel Kape jump to fight Pantoja? Or would you rather see Manel Kape fight um Kai Kara?
I mean, if that's the fight that has been booked, Kaika Francis' last fight was against, I think, if I remember, Albazi, and I think
Mm.
he won that fight, right? So, um, what's the best thing to do? I mean, at the moment, Pantoja is fishing for opponents. That's why one of the reasons why they had to bring this guy from Reason to make his debut in the title fight. So I think he should just fight Pantoja because Pantoja already fought with France before. Obviously, this depends on the UFC, depends on what they want to do, and it also depends on Pantoja as well. So they can do that one, Cap versus France. They can do it as an eliminator for the belt next. But it depends on Pantoja's own availability as well. If he's available to fight and wants to fight, they'll probably do Manel Cap versus Pantoja straight up. I think anyway. Yeah, but it depends on them really. But anyone, I mean, those are not the divisions that we really want to see. It's like small Nash where they shake these those divisions. So let's talk about some other interesting.
I don't get
Uh,
audio for see small yash they shake oh, see small yash they
Yeah.
shake oh.
Yeah.
What
that is
you know
disrespectful to a whole division, bro.
you know you
Demetrius
know how I
Johnson is
feel.
not going to be happy with you.
You know how I feel about the
Yeah, I know.
featherweight,
I
so we
know.
don't we don't no we don't have to get into that, man. We don't have to
Mhm.
get into that. All right, let's go on. Let's talk about our boy Themba Gorimbo. I think we already spoke about his fight with Vicente Luque. As you know, Themba had a chance to get into the welterweight rankings, and he was talking about this for a very, very long time, right? I remember when he was predicting that the Vicente Luque versus the Diaz need. Sorry, I'm having something in my throat. Vicente Luque and Diaz fight is going to fall off, and he's going to be a replacement fighter. There was even actually when in a press conference, Dana White was asked, like, Themba has put his name in the hat. He wants to fight Vicente Luque if Diaz pulls out. And then I was like, well, we don't do those type of things. We only do replacement fighters for main events, right? And then obviously what Themba manifested actually did end up happening. As you know, the man is an oracle. However, the fight didn't go his way. We spoke about that in Nasium. However, my question today is, what is next for Themba? Would you want him to get back into chasing a ranking again, trying to fight the top 15, or would you rather have him do one of those fights that the UFC did for him earlier, where they square him up against someone fighting out of a contract, like someone going out of the organization per se? Like, I don't want to say an easy fight because there's no easy fight in the UFC, but would you rather have him have a fight of an unranked opponent that he has a chance to win, a winnable fight, or would you rather have him fight one of the top 15 contenders? I'll take Demola first. I know Themba is your very good friend, so let me hear your opinion. You probably have already spoken to him about this, but what do you think?
Okay, so one thing with me is even if I support you, I always have my unbiased heart on. Looking at the structure of the top 15 and the welterweight division of the UFC right now, it is tough. Number 15 is Michael Venom Page. Number 14 is Vicente Luque. Number 13 is Carlos Prates. Number 12 is Michael Morales. Number 11 is Steven Wonderboy Thompson. And number 10 is Jeff Neal. The only guys I see Themba beaten right now easily in that long list is probably Steven Wonderboy Thompson.
No, you know what? You know what? You know what would have been perfect? The perfect
Easily.
story. The perfect story would have been if Themba had beaten Vicente Luque.
Mhm.
Or let's just say, because the things that would be put in place was him to fight Kobe Covington, his former partner. Right? A
Yes.
lot of people
And
don't know that there was a bit of a squabble that happened there. There's already a built-in storyline. It was made public when Themba was in that gym, living in that gym, sleeping on that couch. It was made public that Kobe brought him food, and Themba said so many nice things about Kobe before Kobe showed him his true color. So I feel like Themba, a man that knows how to cut promo and sell a fight, goes head to head against another man that is the embodiment of
a
a pro
promo.
wrestler, a WWE wrestler in UFC. I feel like that would have been a fantastic program for the UFC. But I don't know if, because Kobe now, he's going to try to be like, I'm only going to, he's always been careful with his matchmaking. I feel like he's probably going to be like, he's going to fight somebody he thinks he can win. And in my opinion, I think Kobe would have that ego that he will think that, okay, Themba is somebody I think I can beat, and he probably would take that fight. I hope that might be the case with Kobe's thinking. He's him thinking like, oh, I can take Themba, so I probably would take Themba, fight that Themba. I feel like that will benefit Themba quite a lot. Yeah, because if Themba comes out and defeats Kobe, he's gonna take his spot. He didn't take Vicente Luque's spot, but he'll take Kobe's spot. Well, that's me just fantasizing. I don't know what Themba
Yeah,
is thinking,
but then
but yeah.
if you're the UFC, you're the matchmakers, right? You're Sean Shelby. How do you sell a fight wherein a number 9 ranked contender, right?
Mhm, mhm.
Former title contender is fighting an unranked opponent. It's not like very easy to put together number 9 versus unranked, right? So I think he needs a chin up fight with an unranked fighter and then build that confidence, build that momentum, coming back to for somebody in the top 15, because right now the top 15 is loaded. I'm really, really scared of people like Michael Venom Page, Carlos Prates. Those guys are scary. I think, yeah, those guys are
Ebuka,
really, really
Ebuka,
scary.
what do you think
Even
about
this
what
Michael
Demola is saying?
Morales guy, he's young and hungry, right? the, the,
Ebuka,
the
what do you think
level is
Themba
about
very
needs to
insane.
get
what Demola is saying?
Themba. Themba needs to get another win. It's not good to have like another loss. It won't be good for him. Even though yes, this one was on short notice and he was covering up for Diaz there, Nick Diaz. But he needs a win. So what's the best way to get a win? The best place to get a win is to fight another unranked person. And yeah, that's the best place. I mean, he'll probably go back now to the Apex now and fight, which is where he has said himself that he's comfortable fighting anyway. So it's not a problem for him. So yeah, he should go back to the Apex, get another good win, hopefully a devastating knockout. First of all, maybe he even needs to take some break because that the way
He
he
was really
was
busy.
lying
He was really busy in
yeah,
2024.
but
I think
yeah,
he probably he has said it already. He's going to spend some time with his family and then get back in
yeah.
there. He was really
So
really motivated this 2024
he needs
to get that number next to his name. However, it didn't work out at the end. But regardless, it was a fantastic year for Themba Gorimbo in 2024. Um,
mm,
moving on. I think this is a nice conversation as well to clip. I don't know which catchphrase to use for this one. Um, moving on. Um, well, we don't really need to dive into this too much, but I'll just mention it. Nicholas Hwende defeated Ndebele Nkosi in Brave CF, and now he is the champion of the lightweight division. And Hwende was a champion in EFC. He came into Brave undefeated. He dropped his title in the EFC to come fight for Brave. And Hwende and Nkosi in the belly, on the other hand, made his pro debut on Brave and then fought his way into a title, had a trilogy fight, which was one of the most unique trilogy fights. I think Brave should probably push for a Guinness Book of Record recognition for that one, because what they did is a trilogy fight in MMA that happened in 3 different continents, one in Asia, one in South America, and then the third fight was in Africa. So I think they probably should be able to get a Guinness Book of Record for that one. Yeah. So when they did win that fight by unanimous decision, fantastic performance by him. He's an incredible talent, both him and Nkosi in Della. If you haven't seen the fight, it's a free stream on YouTube. Please feel free to go do that. And we're gonna end with this game that I promised you guys. But before we do that, I have an announcement to make. On December 29, next week today, AKO 7 is happening in Lagos. AKO African Knockout, Kamaru Usman's MMA promotion is going to be putting on a show, their last show of the year. A big card has a Nigerian main event of Big Shark Daniel Emeka versus Shegun Ogunoiki. Both fighters were runner-ups in their reality TV show that is currently on Netflix. These guys have been on a trajectory to meet, and obviously now they are going to meet. That's a fantastic fight to look out for. However, here is the caveat, or here is the knockout punch. Kamaru Usman is going to be in Lagos. I'm going to be in Lagos as well. Not that I'm putting myself in the same pedestal as Usman, but Kamaru Usman is going to be in Lagos for AKO 7. If you are in Lagos out there for Dirty December, or you're looking for something to do, tickets are still on sale for AKO 7 live from the Landmark Event Center. I've been out here trying to convince these fellows to follow me to Lagos for Dirty December, but they looked at the plane ticket prices, and were like, nah, I'd rather go to Saudi. Anyways, if you're in Lagos, please do that. And here is another one. I said that was the knockout punch, but here's another key detail. Ladies and gentlemen, you two did not know, so I'm going to break it here. I am going to be making my television debut on AK07. I am going to be the Joe Rogan of that show. I am going to be doing the cage interviews. I'm going to be wearing my blazer, looking all official, and I'm going to be live on Super Sport. So look out for that. Watch the live stream. I know Demola, you are in a habit of missing AKO cards. You better not miss this one, because I'm going to be doing cage interviews.
I'm not missing this
All
one
right.
for nothing.
Yeah.
Nice one,
So
nice one, brother. Big
yeah,
up
Normally
to
watch
you.
it
Big up to
anyway.
you. Congrats.
Well done.
yeah. So big event. I'm really, really excited to be in Lagos. I'll be flying on Christmas Day. It's crazy. It's worth, but yeah, the experience is worth it. And my wife obviously allowed me to go, so I'm excited about that one too. All right. Moving on. This is from Christopher Graham. Big shout out to Christopher Graham, a member in our Patreon. Please support the show, join our Patreon, pledge any amount, and you can suggest topics that we'll talk about. Like this one. Christopher Graham said, have you considered doing a 2025 African fighters draft? You could take turns in picking 5 African fighters or 1 fighter from each division. But once a fighter has been picked, the fighter is not eligible to be selected by anyone else. You could track their progress based on wins, main event, title shots, championship, signings, or signings with major promotions. The winner of the fighter is the fighter whose team did the best by this time next year. All right, so this is what it entails. If you know what a draft is in American sports is like when the lottery picks, you would have lottery positions. Person goes pick number 1, team picks number 2, team picks number 3, but they'll pick from a pool of players from like college or players playing pro elsewhere, and then you select. So what this idea is we have a pool of African fighters, a whole long list of African fighters, right? And all of us would have picks, right? I'll go number 1, you go number 2, and he goes number 3. And then we take turns like that. And then what happens is we would have a team of 5 fighters, and throughout this year we'll be monitoring the progress of these fighters and giving them points, right? The points could come from wins, title victories, and signing for major promotions. We can assign points to this uh this system. Maybe you will say you get 3 points if you win, maybe 1 point if you perform. I don't want to say lose, but if you perform 1 point, if you win a title, 5 points. If you defend a title, 5 points. Actually, no, if you defend a title, 3 points, because it will be unfair. Because maybe if I get a champion and the third draft pick didn't get a champion, then I will have an advantage. So let's say your fighter wins a title, 5 points. Let's say your fighter is a champion already you picked, and you get 3 points if he wins a fight. If he loses, 1 point. And let's say a fighter joins a new promotion, then maybe let's give that one. How many points will we give that one?
New promotion, 1 point. 1 point sounds
That's
fair.
not. Is that an achievement? That's not a fight. Joining a new promotion is not a
Well,
fight.
it's an achievement now. Say if you are fighting in EFC and then you go to UFC, now achievement now. Or you go Brave CF, or you go Bellator or PFL, now achievement now. So I would get my social media my social media manager to put up a list of the pool. I think I'm going to open this up, including my social media manager, so he gets excited and actually does the monitoring of this thing. And then you guys will have your teams. You can give your team names. I call my own team JB, for example, or Team African Fighters. You call your own Team Kings or whatever, Team Ebuka or Team Tycoon. So let's say I think I'm going to open this up to Christopher Graham, since it's his idea. I think that's going to keep us on our toes to actually monitor these guys. What do you
That's a
think
good.
about this
That's a
idea?
good idea, actually. That's a good idea because, yeah, like you said, the end
Yeah.
goal here is for us to be able to monitor
Mm.
the fighters. So yeah, I guess obviously we'll have to organize it properly and understand the rules. So, but it's a good idea.
Well, this
Yeah,
I was just spitballing. It just came now, but I
yeah.
think like it's solid. You win, you get 3 points. You perform, not lose. You perform, you get 1 point. Or I should say, you don't win, you get 1 point. You win a title, you get 5 points. You move promotions, you get 1 point. And we'll look at it at the end of the year.
I
So we
think
would have a
it
pool of
is
5.
fair.
Mhm.
Sorry, I was going to chip in something. I think it's fair if we award 2 points for a split decision loss. Yes, a loss by decision 1 point, and knockout 0. It's I think that sounds fair.
Tiffany has a good question. What does the overall winner get? I didn't even think that far.
Bragging rights.
Well,
Trophy.
how about Tiffany? Whoever wins, you agree to take him out on a date and you pay for it. Tell me what you think, Tiffany. Or if the person is not in the same city as you, the person will go out but the treats the person is going to have is going to be on you. You treat that person.
Virtual days.
Because I think I'm going to win. Um, yeah, I think, well, there is bragging rights, but we should have. Oh, okay. Wow, I was joking, but she agrees.
Wow, there you go, Jude.
That's
There
my
you
girl.
go.
That's my girl.
Yeah.
That's a
Great stuff.
deal.
Well done, Tiffany.
Great.
Shout out to you.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I think. Well, that is. Let's assume Tiffany's gig is a bonus, but we need something that would actually. Should we make a title belt? Title
Yeah,
belt is not that difficult.
I was gonna
Yeah.
suggest something like, yeah, like a belt, yeah, or like
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
cap
A
of a
custom.
king,
A
king
cus.
of the or a custom shirt, something like that. Yeah,
No, a customized title belt. The African Fighters Draft League.
leader, yeah, or king, draft king, yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
The African,
Draft
that one is
king.
going. That is going to be a copyright infringement. DraftKings. But yeah, I think that's fantastic. I think we should do that belt. This
the
website,
African fighters
I've been
king.
at
Mm.
I've been at Etsy, they call that website. They have all these cheap belts. It doesn't have to be expensive. It's just the symbol of it, right? But my own wahala now is my own disappointment is that the belt is going to take a whole year for somebody to win it. I want somebody to win it. Nah. What can we do for somebody to win the belt? Nah, 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 nah.
I mean, we can divide it into maybe two a year, or even into quarters, so that
Mm,
if, let's say, quarter one, which is the first quarters of like 4 months, 4 months per
mm,
year, that means 3 times a year. The first quarter
mm.
you might win it, then we're looking forward to the next quarter, who's going to win, something like that. It'll be more fun like that, I think.
All right. All right. Okay. Well, that's food for thought. We would obviously, as I told you, I'll speak to my manager. My social media manager. He's going to handle all this drafting thing. I'll explain to him. I'm sure he'll be excited about it. The only issue is, he's in Nigeria and he wouldn't want. I would want him to be on the live stream because he's got very good opinions. But the problem is Nigerian internet is an issue. Remember when we used to have Toby here, Demola? It was an issue. Now, StreamYard on Nigeria is horrible. It's horrible.
It's not nice.
Anyways, guys, that's it from the African Fighters. It's been incredible having you guys with us. I actually did enjoy this conversation. I don't know about you. And for that, this dirty December 5 bottle of NSC for everybody.
He said 5 bottles of NSC VSOP. He said one for the DJ, one for the hype man.
Yeah, so one for me, one for Demola, and one for Ebuka. And big shout out to Tiffany as well. One for Tiffany. Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you. I am Jabril from the African Fighters, and I've got King Dems. Follow King Dems on King Dems podcast. He's on YouTube, he's on Instagram. Also, his personal Instagram is King Dems One. We've got Ebuka the Tycoon. His Instagram handle, if I can remember correctly, is the Ebuka Tycoon. He's
I
on
am
he's on
Ebuka Tycoon.
I am Ebuka Tycoon, and he's on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
Fantastic episodes out. You actually, Ebuka, you put an episode out recently about oh gosh, I forgot. It will sound like I'm lying now. I did see it and I started
I mean,
watching it, but I didn't
I have a
finish it.
lot, so I can't say the one because I have
No, no, the
a
one
lot of
you had
episodes.
this guy you had this guy on. Um,
Is
Oh,
it
was it
mental
who
exercise.
how
had on?
to why?
Yeah,
Exercise.
that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. The one
exercise.
Oh
exercise
yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
problem.
mascot.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that episode is like my algorithm knows that I'm a fat slob, so it keeps on popping and popping and popping while popping on my feed.
Yeah.
You need to get up and go out there and work out. Yeah, yeah. Big shout out to Ebuka doing the
Yeah.
Lord's work. Demola as well. Demola is very popular in America right now within the power slap circuit and the bare knuckle boxing circuit. In my opinion, a bunch of way out there. But yeah, big shout out to Demola as well, doing well on the Kingdoms podcast. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I am Jabril, and I am signing out.